number one. Said there's going to be 3 secrets I'm going to talk about today. And secret number 1, marriage counseling doesn't work after betrayal. Marriage counseling does not work after a betrayal. There's a time and a place for marriage counseling. But in the beginning, marriage counseling is not the direction. And let me tell you why. Because again, I did this. And there's so many reasons why. And I just wrote out a few just to keep me organized. Okay. First of all, what's the goal of marriage counseling? What's the goal? Anybody want to put it in the chat? What's the goal of marriage counseling? To fix a marriage. To fix a marriage, right? But the marriage doesn't have the problem. The marriage is a word. Marriage is a word that describes a relationship between 2 people. The word marriage cannot have a problem. You've got 2 individual people within the marriage. And those 2 individual people, they have their own individual paths that they need to take in order to truly heal after betrayal. Marriage counseling is great for things like communication, conflict resolution. There's lots of things that marriage counseling can help a couple get better at. But unless you are actually working with a trauma-informed counselor, you're not going to get very far. You're going to get some tips here and there. You're going to learn some good things here and there, but it's not going to get to the root cause of the acting out, whether it was an affair, whether it was pornography addiction, sex addiction, whatever it was. The root cause of those, you're not going to resolve in a couples session. It's an individual journey. So all of the things that marriage counseling does, right? It talks about becoming an active listener. It talks about maybe role playing, goal setting, gratitude for each other. Again, those are all wonderful things at the right time. After a betrayal, if we haven't healed from the core wounds of the betrayal, none of those things are going to land. And people get stuck. They will be in marriage. The majority of my clients have been to at least 2 marriage counselors. In fact, I would love in the chat, tell me how many marriage counselors you have been to. How many of you have gone to marriage counseling? We've got a 0, we've got a 2, somebody's doing EMDR. They went to marriage counseling to learn to communicate together, to fix communication. Guess what? The issue isn't communication. I'm going to guess most of the betrayed partners who are listening to me right now, or maybe listening on the replay, you tried to communicate with your partners, didn't you? Most betrayed partners have been trying to communicate over the months or the years leading up to the acting out. So this concept of going to counseling to learn how to communicate, you're trying to learn how to communicate with somebody who isn't communicating. The core reason, why is the unfaithful partner not communicating? That's not going to get resolved in a couples session. That's going to get resolved in an individual journey that the unfaithful partner needs to take in order to figure out, what is it about communication? What is it about sharing my thoughts, sharing my feelings, sharing my emotions, being vulnerable? What is it that I can't do those things with my partner? So if you just want to have better surface communication, you can do that in marriage counseling. But if you want to get to the root cause of why the communication fell apart, that's going to be an individual journey that each person needs to take. Because again, I hear this all day long. The betrayed partners say, I've been trying to talk. I've been trying to communicate, but I've been shut out. The unfaithful partner needs to figure that out. That's an individual journey. You're not going to do that in a couples session. So marriage counseling, again, at the right time is a wonderful thing. But let me tell you a little bit of a secret within this bigger secret. if each person does their own individual work, by the time you are both healthier and you've healed and you've gotten rid of some limiting beliefs and some fears, you won't need marriage counseling, because all of those things that you're going to marriage counseling for today are going to be gone. If both people do the right individual work, you're going to learn how to communicate. You won't need to pay somebody to teach you how to communicate, because you're not going to have the fears of communication inside of you anymore. The betrayed partner is not going to be swallowing down some of her thoughts or his thoughts because they're afraid that they're going to, I want to say, anger the unfaithful partner. And the unfaithful partners, if they do the right work, they're going to learn how to communicate, how to have a healthy relationship with their own emotions. So again, you're not going to need the marriage counseling for communication if each person does their own individual healing. When Camilla and I work with couples, we work with them individually, not together. So be very careful with marriage counseling. Again, at the right time, it's a great thing. But if we're really trying to heal from betrayal, each person needs their own individual journey. What the betrayed partner needs and what the unfaithful partner needs are two different things. The betrayed partner needs to start understanding triggers, needs to start understanding how to manage the pain, the trauma, how to release trauma from the body in a healthy way. The betrayed partner needs to process this story. The betrayed partner needs the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So the betrayed partner needs all of that on their own. The unfaithful partner needs to go deep and start figuring out what is the root cause of the acting out. What's underneath it? I teach a lot about the difference between excuses and reasons. Excuses involve other people or other events or something out there in the external world.